Have you ever wondered why your cat acts the way it does? Your house cat may be domesticated, but it still has some of its instincts from its ancestors like wild cats do today. Besides observing my own feline friends, I think I've researched enough to educate you all today. We will learn more about the connection between the behaviors of domestic cats and wild cats by exploring how cats were domesticated, then the differences and the similarities between the behaviors of domestic cats and wild cats. First, we'll look at how cats were domesticated. An article from National Geographic states that cats domesticated themselves. Quote, DNA analysis suggests that cats lived for thousands of years alongside humans before they were domesticated, end quote. Only genes were changed through the domestication process, like the coat pattern, spots and stripes, like of a tabby cat. And there are two main lineages. Early ancestors of the first lineage spread from Asia to Europe about 8,000 years ago. They were attracted to the rodents in the human civilizations, and through catching those rodents, they got used to being around humans. The second lineage came from the Fertile Crescent 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. And then those cats were domesticated in Egypt. These cats are more attractive to humans because they're more tame and social. They were also mummified along with their human owners because at the time the Egyptians worshipped a cat goddess. It was also thought that cats were carried around in boats and along travels to control the rodent population. It wasn't until the 18th century when people started caring about the markings of their cats. And in the 19th century, people began breeding for certain traits. Overall, genetically, not much has changed between domestic cats. Now that we know a little more about the domestication process, let's move on to the differences between domestic cats and wild cats. According to the Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center, house cats are still semi-domesticated, but have many differences that come from the genes that govern their personality traits. So domestic cats are less aggressive, and because they're less aggressive, they can form memories and they can learn certain tricks or things through reward-based stimuli, and they tolerate and enjoy being around humans and dogs. Other differences are the brain size, pupil shape, and that they purr. So wild cats have larger brains, but that does not mean that they are smarter. This has to do with survival instincts, adaptability, and their instincts to be in herds or prides. Domestic cats can be seen alone or in groups and are more playful. Large wild cats have round pupils, whereas domestic cats have slit pupils, and this has to do with lifestyle. So large cats are farther off the ground, and they have round pupils because they don't need to focus as precisely on prey, whereas cats with vertical pupils are good at hunting because they can adjust more easily to light or darkness. For purring, quote, domesticated cats purr but don't roar, whereas lions roar but don't purr due to anatomical differences in throat anatomy, end quote. Last difference is that domestic cats play fight even when they're full grown. So wild cats only play when they're mature to teach their young how to hunt and fight. You will never see full grown lions and tigers fighting or fighting each other. They're just fighting because they want to protect their territory. Finally, even with these differences, there are still many more similarities between domestic cats and wild cats. In an article by Discover Wildlife, it states that there are 6 key behavior similarities between domestic cats and wild cats. Okay, then
No.
one is playing with prey. So domestic cats love to play with food, and so do large cat cubs. This is how they learn to tire out and disorient their prey before killing it. Second is tactile greeting. So mothers and kittens and males and females during mating season greet each other by rubbing their faces on each other because of the sweat glands or the scent glands there. And their cats also greet by rubbing their bodies together or doing some headbutting. Third trait is scratch marking. So males and females scratch trees to mark their territory, and the higher the scratch, the bigger the size or strength of that cat would be, that what it looks like to other cats. The fourth is defending territory. So cats mark their territory through using scent and urine, and they also like to sit up on high perches to be able to see their territory and if anybody's in it. Wild cats also vocalize when people are in their territory. Classic warning signs of a cat that's going to fight would be hissing, tiptoeing, arching their back, and an erect tail. The fifth trait would be attacking methods. So both domestic cats and wild cats are ambush predators, which means they like to hide and then catch their prey. But domestic cats like to pounce on their prey, whereas wild cats dash at their prey. And both domestic and wild cats kill by biting the necks of their prey. So the final trait would be how they care for their young. So both types of cats raise their young in a secluded den and the kittens are moved often so that predators don't find them. And when they are moved, they are also carried one by the nape of their neck. And another commonality is that when multiple mothers have children, that they share their young, and so they all kind of take care of each other. So I hope you all have learned a little bit about the behavior of domestic cats and wild cats. To conclude, we have explored how domestic cats and wild cats' behaviors are similar and different. Domestic cats may be more tame than their ancestors, but still share many behavioral traits with their wild cousins. I hope that next time you see a cat pounce on something, you can imagine that a tiger or lion is doing the same. Thank you.